Hey everybody, it's me again, But896, and I'm back with another video for you guys. Today I'll be reviewing Swamp Thing, Volume 1, Raise Them Bones. The series is written by Scott Snyder, and on this first volume we have Yannick Paquette and Marco Rudy on the artwork. The series is published by DC Comics under their New 52, and this first trade collects the first 7 issues of the series. So the story starts out and we meet our main character of Alec Holland, aka Swamp Thing. This particular volume of the series picks up after the events of Brightest Day, where in the last part of the Brightest Day series, which was a follow-up to the big DC Universe event from a few years ago called Blackest Night with Jeff Johns and the whole Green Lantern series and universe. There was a part at the end of the Brightest Day series with which was called Search of the Swamp Thing, where Alec Holland, aka Swamp Thing, came back to life after being dead for many years. So here we have Alec Holland being paid a visit to by Clark Kent, aka Superman, who has come to see Alec Holland about some strange, horrific goings-on within the world, for example in Metropolis, and there's also some other mysterious incidents that Superman wants Alec Holland's sort of take on what it might be, so he comes to him asking for advice. And we have Alec Holland in his inner monologue narrating that after being back, or being brought back to life, he has refused the call of the Green, and he tries to lead a normal life, and he tries to go back to his old life of being a botanist or a biologist, and working on the biorestorative formula that he was working on before his death the first time he died. I really like the fact that Scott Snyder and Yannick Paquette and Marco Rudy keep this series at its original core, which is a horror comic, as you can see there, with these mysterious fly creatures that if they get in your ear they'll cause you to basically snap your own neck and become zombies essentially, as you can see there and there. So, like I said, Alec has refused the call of the Green many times up until this point. There's some really great respective nods to continuity of the character. For example, the fact that Alec Holland, like I said, the first time he died, for those of you who don't know, Swamp Thing was a character that was created by Len Wein and Bernie Wrightson. And in the first series where he died, he was working on the biorestorative formula. There was a laboratory accident and there was an explosion, and as you can see, here's a flashback of him being engulfed in flames, and he jumps into the swamp and he emerges as the muck-encrusted monster known as Swamp Thing. So there's some really cool, like I said, nods to the character and the series continuity. And also, there's another really cool touch, again on the part of Yannick Paquette. Here we can see the safe number that Alec is using has the date 1971, which was the date which the first appearance of the character Swamp Thing came out, which was in the House of Mystery comic, issue number 92. And here we see a previous avatar of the Green, or a previous Swamp Thing, paying Alec Holland a visit, as you can see there. First off, the original series covers by Yannick Paquette are equally as good as his artwork, but my absolute favourite would have to be the one which is the front cover for this first trade of the first 7 issues. I have to say, Yannick Paquette and Marco Rudy's artwork in this is absolutely fantastic, as well as the really cool original series covers. So, with this visit from this previous Swamp Thing, we learn some of the history of the Green and the Parliament of the Trees, as you can see there and there. I really like the panel usage that Yannick Paquette utilises in his artwork. I think his usage of the panels and the different layouts is really cool. I'll just show you another example there and there. So then we have some information on this avatar of the black, or the rot, which is that of Seth. And I'll show you our first shot of Seth, which we see him here. So this is the guy who is the main avatar for the black, or the rot, which is the force of death and decay within the DC universe. The green is the force for all plant life, and the red, which leads into Jeff Lemire's Animal Man, is of all animal life. So there's the three kind of external life forces that are existing within this New 52 DC universe. Here we have some really cool action scenes of one of these neck snapped zombies coming after Alec, as you can see there and there. We also have the introduction of Alec, or Swampy's former lover, and that is Abigail Arcane, as you can see there. So then we have some history between Alec and Abby being introduced. There's also a flashback of Abby and Swamp Thing when they were first together before he died for the second time, as you can see there. I'll just turn over my notes page. We also have the introduction of one of the avatars of the rot, which is William Arcane, Abigail's half-brother, as you can see there. And what William can do, or avatars of the rot can do, is they can control dead matter in people. So for example, if they got a rotting tooth, or arthritis, or anything that's wrong with them that's dead tissue within their bodies, William can essentially control it and bring it out of people and make it several levels in advancement, so effectively killing people. So we have Abby and Alec on William's trail. We also have the introduction of the Parliament of Trees, where we have a conversation between Alec and the Parliament, and we also get some history on the age-old war between the team-up between the red and the green against the rot. And again, here's some really cool examples of some of the panel work done by Yannick Paquette, as you can see there and there. This is just a really fantastic first series, well, fantastic first volume and a fantastic series by Scott Snyder. Like I said, I really like the fact that they've kept the series to its original core, which is a horror comic, and there's some pretty horrific stuff that goes down within these first 7 issues. There's also a really creepy scene between William and Abby, which I don't want to give away, but I will say that Scott Snyder managed to severely creep me out, which doesn't really happen an awful lot. Even though I can't watch horror movies, but I can read horror comics, but that's not really the point. Here we see our first glimpse at Anton Arcane, which is the age-old enemy of Alec Holland, aka Swamp Thing, as you can see there. We then have a death scene of both Alec and the Parliament of Trees, where basically the Parliament have saved Alec so they can make him feel the same amount of pain that they're feeling from being burnt alive by the avatars of the rot. And the Parliament in this particular issue come across as complete and utter douchebags, because they've become so complacent and they want Alec Holland to be the new avatar, but at the same time they're just, like I said, they come across as complete douchebags. And Alec even you know, even calls them out on it, and calls them conscientious, because the reason they picked humans to be their avatars for the Swamp Thing is because of the qualities that they valued, which was, you know, the courage and the fortitude to be the avatars for the Swamp Thing, and the protectors of the green, and the agents of the rot. So Alec, like I said, really calls them out on that, which I thought was a really cool moment. And then here we have our first shot of Alec being reborn as Swampy, as you can see there. I have to say the artwork in this by both Yannick Paquette and Marco Rudy is absolutely fantastic. Let's see if I can show you an example of... actually, the shot I showed you of Anton Arcane is some of Marco Rudy's artwork. I really like both styles, actually. They really suit this series down to the ground. If I had to give a personal preference, I'd probably go for Yannick Paquette, just because I really like the uses of panels that he does with his artwork. But also Marco Rudy's artwork is really detailed, almost as much as Yannick Paquette's. Overall, this was an absolutely fantastic first volume of Scott Snyder's run on Swamp Thing. The writing in this by Snyder is absolutely fantastic, and the artwork by both Paquette and Rudy is equally on par. If you're a fan of Scott Snyder, if you're a fan of Swamp Thing, be it from the first volume, which was the was the Len Wein and Bernie Wrightson days back in the 70s, or if you're a fan of the legendary run by Alan Moore on Saga of the Swamp Thing, or if you're just a fan of the character of Swamp Thing and you want to get into a new series of Swamp Thing, you need look no further than Scott Snyder's run. If you're a DC fan, if you're a horror comics fan, then, like I said, I'd definitely say that Scott Snyder's run on Swamp Thing is definitely worth checking out. This was an absolute 5 out of 5 for Swamp Thing Volume 1, Raise Them Bones, and I highly recommend you check it out. And that about concludes this review video, guys. Thank you everybody for watching. Hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. As always, feel free to leave a comment below in the comment section. If you're new to my channel and you'd like to see more of my videos, please feel free to subscribe. And until next time, this is Scambit896 signing off, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care, guys.